ask you a question. How do you move an organization forward? Some of you are going to think by doing the right things, by making strategic decisions, by working on particular tasks or tactics. But all of those are correct. But really what moves an organization forward is a series of decisions that you make along the way. And you can't believe how often I find people who agonize over making decisions. And at least to me, decisions are a normal part of how I grew up in the business world. You see something you don't like, you make a decision to fix it. I remember someone once asked Harry Truman, you're the President of the United States, you make all these important decisions. What happens if you make the wrong decision? And Truman said with a straight face, I make another one to make it right. It is that simple. And I tend to oversimplify things. But let's face it, the simpler it is, the easier it is to keep moving forward. And just because a problem is complex doesn't mean it needs a complex solution. So when confronted with a situation or a circumstance that you have to address and you have to make a decision, what do you need to do? Well, the first step is determine what the outcome is of that decision. What do you want to happen as a result of that decision? And work backwards from there, identifying 2 or 3 or no more than 4 steps that you have to take to get there. They may be smaller interim decisions. But the last thing you want to do is try to study all the sides of a circle. You know how that ends up. In fact, it never ends. You just keep going round and around. And the longer you agonize about making decisions, more overwhelmed, you take on more overwhelm, you become more frustrated, till eventually you just can't see the forest for the trees. I had a conversation with a coaching client this morning who was working his way through some significant issues in his business, trying to address every single one at the same time. And my first response was, let's take a step back and let's identify the most important thing first and let's work on that. So in making decisions, determine the outcome, make sure it's the most important thing, work backwards for the steps you have to take in order to get to that outcome. And as Truman once said, if you make the wrong decision, you make another one to make it right. Decisions. They can be exciting, but they're how you move you and your organization forward.